Good morning, everybody. This is Christy. I am the Intimate Warrior. I thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I send you love. Well, today is December the 14th, and it is a solar eclipse. If you live within those regions that are able to observe it, please do. We are unable to do so in our location here in the U.S. So it's kind of significant that, let's see, a few days ago, and don't know which day it is, so I'm just going to keep it at that. I ended up seeing Horus, and I want to talk about Horus today. Horus is the combination of the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Thoth, I believe, and combined create the Eye of Horus. And Horus, the Eye of Horus, was actually taking place, or because of what was taking place with the sun and the moon, was created. This was during this time there was a total solar eclipse, and we have a total solar eclipse going on currently. So I think that's fascinating. Now, Horus is the two eyes represented of the two eyes, which is the energy of the moon and energy of the sun. You have the magnetizing and the electrifying. You have the gold, you have the silver, you have the frankincense, you have the myrrh, you have the hot and you have the cold. You have the masculine and you have the feminine energy here. Now, when you have the Eye of Horus, you have those two eyes now that are now side by side. This is a representation of a couple of things. The left and the right side of the brains are now synchronized together because, excuse me, because the hollow entryway, or that cave of Brahma, the center of our brain where we see and witness God, is as a result of the eyes combining here within the center, which compose of both pineal and pituitary. The third eye is often considered to be the pituitary, depending on who you ask, and then some people will call the pineal gland the third eye, but it's actually the third and the fourth eye. The third eye is the pituitary, and then the fourth eye is the pineal gland. One works with the other, and without the other, one is not fully functionable. You can have your third eye or pituitary gland open to receiving intuition and some guidance, but it's going to be kind of hit and miss. You won't see that visible light that is a representation of the pineal gland being open. A lot of other things come into play here. Now, the pineal gland, the importance of this is that it gives you all of those other hormones that upgrade us and our DNA, that also allow the full functioning of the brain. And again, a lot of things come into play here when these are syncing up and creating that unity and harmony. So when what took place during the solar eclipse back in Egyptian times, or any other time in ancient history, where this phenomena took place, is that the moon came in between the sun, which of course is some new moon already in effect today. so it's already darkened over. And so the sun is in back creating that shadow. The light of the sun is now creating this moon to be the shadow where the eye is. It looks like the eye of God now. The white part is the white part of our eye, of course, and then the moon becomes the pupil or iris, creating that eye of God. And so the eye of Horus is also considered to be the eye of God. Back in some historical books. Now, I won't go into a lot of information here, but this is also what I believe, what God mentioned to me back, I forget the time. Don't be afraid of the eagles. Because in some of the ancient texts, you will see that the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Thoth, or whatever other things you're looking at, like the Wadjet, if I pronounce that correctly, even Eye of Horus, will have the wings. The wings. It'll be the winged disc is what you're looking at. And this is a representation of that falcon, eagle, falcon. It's really the same thing, just in different looks. So, I wanted to mention this. Now, what the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, one is the magnetizing and one is the electrifying of it. One is the masculine and one is the feminine aspect of it. One is hot, one is cold. One is the frankincense and one is the myrrh. One is from the sun and one is from the moon. And it has a huge significance at what is taking place today. So I'm going to leave it at this today. I'm not feeling terrible. I'm not feeling, sometimes I think it's important to kind of be. So today I'm taking that day of being, and I could have, for the most part, even yesterday I believe I did, I posted a video that I did a couple of days ago, which is still in relationship to these recent upgrades, because when when our brains are syncing up together again, syncing up during this time, we are feeling that kind of spaciness and fogginess. Of course, this takes place throughout our ascension process because we're always tapping into the same source of energy. Every single month, it's like the flipping, like the clock. You know, time is always changing. We're always flipping between centers, different energies that focus on these different centers and etc. So, I hope that you have been having a good experience, receiving a lot. A lot is coming through, and it can be a little overwhelming, and that's why it's really important to kind of step back whenever you possibly can throughout your day. Create that stillness as often as you can. If you are unable to do so first thing in the morning, which is kind of going to be the best time, but of course it can be different for each individual. I used to first thing in the morning, and now I do it whenever I can throughout the day, and a lot definitely at night prior to resting. Stillness empties the mind, and the eyes have to be closed for the most part, because what takes place is that when you close your eyes, you're removing all of this stimulation that you are looking at, that will give you disruption, or make the mind continuously think. So when you're closing your eyes, you're attempting to shut down the brain function a little bit, so you're not thinking of your everyday life. And of course, in the very beginning, this shutdown and that chatter that you have in your brain is going to take a little while for it to stop speaking so much, that voice, until you get to the point of silence. And even still, sometimes I find myself wandering from time to time, but I am still more focused on the task, that when I shut my eyes, I am making this divine connection, and it never fails me. It removes my stress, reminds me of what is true, keeps me centered, keeps me growing, moving in the correct direction. So write down your experiences, and I hope that they have been beneficial to you, or that you are aware that that something beautiful is still taking place, regardless if you are knowing of what's taking place. You are receiving something. Your dreams, again, are assisting in this process. If you, excuse me, have the ability to remember your dreams, then make note of those, because there is still messages. It's messages that pertain to your growth, how you are healing, and divine hidden messages can be relayed within your dreams as well. So I wanted to get this out there, and I hope you can make this connection, find it interesting with what I'm just speaking about, and I will talk to you guys soon. This is Christy. Much love, health, and a healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.